I don't know about you, but I love nature and I love bringing her inside. Well, just about have this tablescape done. I've just got to add a little more flat silver and a few more of these little apples because I love to bring nature inside. What I'm doing here is I'm just setting a table for a few friends for this evening, and I love to use things that are seasonal. And so I borrow colors from the season. So in this case, it's winter-esque, sort of fall to winter. And what I've done is use brown tones, and I love to use things that I can gather outside or even pick up at the grocery store, like these little gala apples, and these are actually some pears that we grew here. But you see how the color echo works from the color of the napkin to these golden apples and pears. So they brighten the table up just a bit. And look at these three little boats, if you will, that I've created that are in the center. These are really kind of a lot of fun. I found these fake mushrooms on a trip and just had to buy them because they look so realistic and they just look so earthy and grounded and nature-like. I put a bed, if you will, or a lawn of moss over it and stuck the mushrooms in them, and then just found these acorns and added them with just some oak leaves, and the oak leaves have dried beautifully. So there are three of those, and so you create this rhythm down the center. They're low enough where you can sit and enjoy the company of the person across from you. And then what I'll do is I'll integrate some little votive candles in between, and the whole thing will just illuminate. And hopefully it'll look like that we're having a meal out somewhere as a picnic on the forest floor. I'll get back to setting this up in a few minutes, but I want to show you a few other examples in this room of bringing nature inside. Come on over here. So take a look at this. You can see I hit the produce department pretty hard and trashed out this mantle with apples. But let's talk about the bigger picture here for just a moment. This is a very important focal point in the room. We've got the fireplace. This is an old picture that I found years ago, and I really like it. And so what you see is this color echo going on. You've got the cloak with the red. I like a touch of red in a painting and in a room. And so that's echoed with these apples that are just lined up on this French baguette board that I love to just put across the mantle here. And then notice the green in the frame, the green in the picture is then echoed in these earthenware jars or these ceramics on either side. Now, you know, I can get kind of hung up on things being symmetrical, and there's a difference between symmetry and balance. And this is not symmetrical. If it was symmetrical, I would have the same object here and the same object here, and it would be symmetrical. But what I try to go for is visual balance, and sometimes that can be even more interesting. And so what I've done here is I've got two objects here, but only one here, and then I fill this one with crabapple branches, so it creates a little more visual interest and brings balance to the composition. Now let's talk about these jars. These are just oil or olive jars. And this is really interesting. I found this. This is a flower vase. It was done in the 1970s. There's no indication as to who did it, except at the bottom it says CVA. And there are little holes here at the top, holes under here, and holes here, and the water is held from about here down, and you can put stems of flowers or dried grasses in it. I just thought it was really cool. I got it for a great price. So I have it up here with these Mediterranean oil jars, and then down here I have the crabapple limbs in this. Now here's something I want you to be aware of. This is really heavy, and I weighted the bottom of this vessel down with gravel, because when you go up with something large and expansive like limbs, make this less precarious, because when you put tall limbs like this, and these are apple limbs that I saved when I pruned the orchard, these things can topple, so it can become top heavy. So by weighting it, you reduce the chances of it falling. So what I've created here is just this bit of nature that's brought in from the orchard that I gathered myself. And then, of course, the apples came out of the produce department. So it's as simple as that. Now come on over here and I'm going to show you a couple of other things. So take a look at this container. You might even call it a vase, but it's actually a stump. It's pretty heavy. And what I love about it is that it's just a piece of a log that's been carved out. You can drop a liner in it. And what I've done is I've gathered some Vitex Blooms. It's a tree that I have here on the place. I really like to capture these spiky seed pods of the Vitex tree just before they begin to turn their darker color, because this color is a dead match to the walls in this room, and it's just one of those weird things that I discovered. So I like to just bundle them up and put them in a container like this. And to me, the juxtaposition of something rustic like this with a really smooth, sensual surface like this chrome light stand or fabrics, that juxtaposition makes for a really interesting visual combination. And come over here and just take a look at this. This is just an orchid that I picked up at the grocery store, but I got rid of those little green sticks that support the orchid spikes, and instead I wanted to use just some kiwi vine. This is dried kiwi vine that you can pick up at any florist, but I just love its shape and form, and the color of this orchid is just almost a dead match to these chartreuse colored little chairs. And right in front, I've got this bowl of acorns. These are everlastings, and they'll be here all throughout the winter. And with these orchids, I mean, they'll bloom for up to 3 months. So bringing nature into the house is really a wonderful and long-lasting thing. It can bring you lots of pleasure. If you're enjoying some of these style tips, share them with a friend, and make sure you subscribe to ehowhome.